So, hello.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm here with the vibe.
Welcome back to Portland. Are you doing anything fun while you're here?
I'm playing a show tonight. That's the thing about touring is like you don't really get to do anything like fun, really. I mean, the shows are fun, but you're like in the city, and then you're like gone. Yeah. So, to answer your question, no, I'm not.
Are there still tickets available for the show tonight?
Yes.
Right on. RustonKelly.com?
Yes.
So your new record's called Pale Through the Window. It came out in September, but The Weakness came out like 2 years ago.
Yes.
So did you just dive bomb the studio when you got off tour?
Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of been, this record was a bit of a capstone assessment of the past, probably 6 or so years of my life. We did Dying Star, my first album, and then just hit the ground running. I wrote Shape and Destroy, my second album, on the back of the bus while touring that album. And then when we did Shape and Destroy tour, I wrote The Weakness on the back of the bus on that tour. And it was, we were going pretty hard for a little while. And Pale was the first time that I had about a year to just take assessment of, inventory of what in the world was going on and who in the world am I type thing,
So who in the world are you?
I mean, I'm a guy with a guitar trying to do the right thing.
So sonically, this record reminds me a lot of Shape and Destroy.
Sick.
Was that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind going kind of back to that sound?
I mean, that sound is if I could be this guy and say that is a quintessential element of my music. And what I mean by that is there's really no pretense to the production. We weren't going to be okay, we want this record to sound like this. With Dying Star, Shape and Destroy, it was just players that I loved, and my dad was always up in the mix on steel guitar, and my sister and whatnot, and we would just kind of push record and play, and this album was originally called A Return to Form until somebody told me that means you were bad and then now you're really good. I was well, I'm not trying to say that. But what I meant by returning to form was returning to kind of the purest aspect of who I am as an artist, as someone that is trying to mean something on record. And I felt the best way to bring that about was to go to the basics of what I knew and to do everything kind of from the gut. This was a very instinctual record, and the only thing that was the pretense for going into the studio was what are we going to have the most fun doing? And that was always let's just push record and see what happens. And we used my touring band that's been with me the past 6-7 years. And I mean, everything just fit like a glove. We had time to kill in the studio because of that. So it was pretty cool.
What was the first song not the first song that you did. What was the first song you wrote?
For the album?
Yeah. But Ever is a good one too. That's a good question.
Yeah, whatever.
What was the first song you ever wrote?
Oh, ever. Well, the first song I ever wrote I was in second grade. And it was called Golden Snow. And the funny thing about that is in my sheltered innocence, I was the glory of the snow, the sun was shining on the snow. And I presented it to my teacher, and she was what are we doing here? And I didn't understand until my brother told me that's just like you're peeing on snow, and that's not what I was trying to get across. But also, if it was, that's cool too. Yeah.
So what was the first song that you wrote for the album?
It was Pale Through the Window. Yeah, which was, I would say, like, the reason we started the album with it. The album starts with Pale Through the Window, which is probably the kind of loneliest song on there. I wrote it before I met my now fiance, and before my life, greatly changed in so many aspects for the better. And it was, the album originally was going to be kind of an album of just like ghosts and shit. Can I say that?
I don't know.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
And then the album ends on All In, which is an ode to that type of love that I didn't really think was a possibility for myself in my life. So I think it's really fitting. That was the first song, and it drastically grew into something very whole, complete, and not alone at all.
Yeah, you can really hear that throughout the evolution of the album, or rather the track order. The track
vibes?
Yeah, the track vibes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song on it?
I think Twisted Root, actually, is my favorite song. It's probably one of my favorite songs I've written. It's like kind of in the same area as Brave, of just kind of laying it all out there, of being honest. Not that like I'd ever be dishonest in writing. I don't really have a choice in that. For better or for worse, transparency in a raw form is a little bit of my go-to on the songwriting process. In Twisted Root, we put that midway on the album sequence because like each of my records, you can start it from track one and go all the way through. You can listen to it out of order, but if you listen to it in order, it is a narrative of events that happened. Like Jackson Browne said, we make records because they're records of events that happened in our life. And it does play as a story. And Twisted Root was this interesting moment where like I did like have such a change of lenses in my life, and this weird thing happened where amidst all of this like joy and fulfillment, there was kind of a glance backwards towards the times that like I had acted out of, whether it was despair, frustration, or pain. And the pain that caused myself and other people, like whether it was through substance abuse or just like a general unknowing of self, was like because of like the newness of goodness in my life, there was such a sharpness to that pain, and some regret and guilt. And it ultimately led me to a concept of grace and knowing that like perfection was never the key or the purpose in the first place, but it was a good reminder, a hefty reminder of, what life looks like through that lens and what it looks like now. And so it was a very important moment to kind of say that to myself.
Well, I won't tell you to play that song necessarily, but I will.
But like play that song.
But I will get out of your way and let you sling some tunes.
Okay.
Ruston Kelly, everyone.
I'll just play that one then.